Hey everyone, this box right here that you can see in front of me is 11 pounds of just straight minifigures. I think that this might be the best deal that I've ever found on eBay because I was able to pick this up for just like $500, which, you know, pounds of figures will usually go for more like $100 to $200 per pound, depending on what themes you see. But this lot had a bunch of great pieces in it. One of the figures I could see was the Possessed Lloyd, which is going for like $150 to $200 right now. So, bunch of great figures from different themes. I saw some Star Wars, saw some Castle. It seemed like a lot of the figures in this lot were from around, I would say, like 2008 to 2015, which is honestly a fantastic range of years for minifigures. But let us get in here and see. Okay, so right off the bat, here we have a magnet set from Atlantis, which that like lobster dude is, I think, $50 if he has both of his claws, which both of those are there. So that is great to see. I don't even know where to start. So this is probably gonna need to be split up into multiple videos, but I would like to film the whole process of me sorting this out and like listing all these different figures just to kind of see what kind of return I can get on my investment here. But for now, I think I'm just going to start by sorting everything by theme, just to get things sorted out to some degree. So I got a Castle figure here, got a Cole ZX here. I'm going to keep sorting, and I will just kind of cut in here and there as I find some cool figures. Got a Kai Final Battle. It's a nice figure. Not worth a ton, but all the older Ninjago stuff has gone up a lot in value. Here's a Benny. There's a battle damaged Zane rebooted head. That's a nice piece. That head alone is like $10. This guy is missing his head, but I really love these old like Space Marine dudes. Now that's just the headgear to that one figure from the Adventurers theme, but if he's complete, that's like a $50 figure as well. Got a complete Zane Air Jitsu here. Not a super expensive figure, but I think he has gone up in value, probably around $15 or $20. Got a Mandalorian Super Commando here. Not exactly sure how much these guys are, but I want to say they're around 20 bucks, so it's a good find. He is missing his jetpack though. We got another Kai Final Battle. I'll take that. Anything like Star Wars, Ninjago, or Castle, great to come across. Got a body to an ARC Trooper. It's the wrong helmet though. Old Stormtrooper body. Got a Horn Company helmet. Got the old RP2 Clone Gunner. I don't think he's worth quite as much anymore because of the new 2020 style Clone Gunner that they released, but still a good figure for sure. There's been a lot of Star Wars already, so that is great to see. Like, especially for the price, I mean, I really think that this is probably the best eBay lot I've ever found. That's a really nice figure. That's the Lloyd Final Battle. I think he's, you know, worth around 20 or 30 bucks. I don't remember how much this astromech is, but I'm pretty sure it's a decent figure. We've got a old Kit Fisto torso. Hopefully his head is somewhere in here. That's a pretty expensive figure. It's one of the old glow-in-the-dark ghost hoods, which I'm pretty sure is like a $10 or $12 piece. This is really nice to see. I believe this is the torso to Eomer from Lord of the Rings. All the figures from that little Uruk-hai battle pack set are worth a lot of money, so if I can find any of those, that'll be great. Got an old Kanan Jarrus here. Just the normal dark brown. Would have been nice to find the black hair variant. here we have the helmet to that Rohan soldier from that Uruk-hai battle pack I was talking about. So that's a good one to see. Well, actually here we have one of the Uruk-hai helmets as well. We got one of the Ninjago Serpentine. I can't remember which one this guy is named, but I know he's probably worth about $20 or so. Got an old Count Dooku figure, just missing his hair. It's a nice find. Already got a full cup of Star Wars figures, and I've barely made a dent in this. So that is great to see. We got Han Solo in Carbonite with Han Solo inside the Carbonite. Also got an Ugnaught, which I believe is probably from that same set. And here we have another of the armor pieces to that Space Marine CMF. Alright, so here we have that possessed Lloyd I had seen in the photos. So this figure alone will pay for a really good chunk of this lot. Very expensive figure. Unfortunately, it does seem like he has some very faint cracks starting on both sides. But otherwise, he's in really good shape. So I should still be able to get, you know, pretty close to full value on that figure. Here's another great find. Here we have a Kai DX. Whoa, there's another Kai DX. We've got two Kai DX right here. I believe he's going for like 50 bucks at this point. So that is a great find. Unfortunately, both of them have cracked torsos. But regardless, very cool to come across two of those. We've got the old Clone Wars Darth Maul figure that has the robotic legs. So if I can find his missing leg, that'll be a nice figure to complete. Here we have Eomer's shield as well as a Uruk-hai head, both from that Uruk-hai battle pack. We got another of the Han Solo Carbonite bricks. This one does not have a Han Solo inside of it. This is a really nice find. This is a JEK 14. I believe this is the less expensive version of JEK 14. The one with the Clone Trooper helmet is going to be worth more, but still a good figure to find. Now, so this is actually a mixture of three different Lloyds. We've got the Lloyd Techno Robe torso, we've got the, I believe, Tournament of Elements legs, and then the Gold Ninja Final Battle head. Got another Uruk-hai helmet. This is a really nice figure to find. So this is the Nightwing, which has gone up in value quite a bit with the recent Arkham Asylum, I believe. I want to say he's going for like close to 50 bucks, and he's in great condition, so that's awesome. Got a standard RP2 Clone Trooper here. Those guys at one point were selling for quite a bit, but their value has dropped pretty significantly now that LEGO has remade that with a new template. Several more Star Wars figures here. I'm about to fill up a second cup of these, and I haven't even filled up one cup of the city. So that is great to see. Always want to have more Star Wars than city going on. Got a Roman Gladiator here. There have been quite a few CMFs so far, which is nice to see. Oh, here we have Eomer's helmet. It's a great piece. Lots of Star Wars and Castle. Love to see it. Got an Ewok, and that is going to fill up a second cup full of Castle, a second cup full of Star Wars, which that's awesome. Got a complete Medusa here too, so that's nice. Here we have a blue classic spaceman. This guy's torso is actually still really shiny, which is kind of surprising. Some of the figures I've come across in here have been, you know, a little beat up, but that guy is in good shape. A lot of times with the old classic space figures, the gold would wear off of the torso pretty easily. Well, this is kind of funny to come across. This is like a very recent figure. I believe it's the recent Gar Saxon. A lot of the stuff in this lot is older, but I guess there's a couple newer figures. This guy's also fairly new. It's from that Clone Trooper pack that was released a few years back. Here we have another Kit Fisto torso. I still have not seen a Kit Fisto head though. I'm pretty sure that this is the head to Possessed Lloyd, so it's possible there's a second copy of that figure somewhere in this lot, which that would be pretty crazy. Got a Phase 1 Commander Cody. Here's another Boba Fett. Oh, no way. Zeb. That is an awesome find. I can't remember how much he's worth, but I know he's a pretty expensive figure. Here we have the body to Pong Krell. I have not seen his head yet. We also have this Ithorian Jedi Master, which is a pretty good figure, I'm pretty sure. No way. Here's another Possessed Lloyd torso. That is insane. If there's a second version of this figure, I can't remember what part to. Oh my god. Here's the wrap to him. So I've got an extra head, torso, and wrap, which that is insane. Coming across two of that guy in one lot. And this torso actually looks like it's in a very nice condition. That is great. Here we have the head to Pong Krell. So that is awesome. I believe he should be complete now that I've found his head. Got a full cup of Ninjago already. That is nice. A lot of this older Ninjago is worth a good bit now. Here we have Evan Peel. Pretty sure I saw his headpiece in here earlier too, so he should be complete. No way, there's another helmet to Eomer? So he had two of that Urikai Battle Pack. Yet another of the Geonosis Troopers. There's been a bunch of these guys. And with that, we've got another full cup of Star Wars figures. I think there's been more Star Wars than anything in this lot already, which is crazy. Here we have the old Wolverine, which I believe is from that helicopter set, which also had Deadpool in it. So if I can find that Deadpool, that'd be awesome, because that's an expensive figure. Here we have a complete version of the Golden Ninja. I found like parts to like 3 different ones so far, but this one looks to be complete and looks to be in pretty good shape too. So that's a nice find. Here we have a Kai ZX. It's a nice figure. Here is the body to a Star Wars Magna Guard droid. So for these guys, I think the cape is the most expensive piece. So if I can find that, that'd be nice. But I have not seen any of the capes so far. I've been using this cup to just kind of store all the different like licensed figures. So we've got, you know, Harry Potter and Pirates of the Caribbean, Indiana Jones, stuff like that in there, which I've now filled up one of those cups. This is also, you know, a pretty recent piece. I believe it's from like 2021 maybe, because this is the 332nd Trooper that was in the AAT, because it did not have the helmet holes like the recent ones have had. Here we have the torso and head to Stas Ali from Star Wars. It's a good find. Here is a complete version of Skybound Lloyd. Very nice figure. This is one of the old Spider-Man heads from the like first wave of sets that they did, where they used metallic silver paint on them. I'm not sure how expensive those figures are, but I want to say that the Spider-Man figures are worth a decent bit from that wave. We got Yoda. Let's go. Here is a helmet to Magneto from that same set that the Wolverine was from. So that's a good sign. You know, maybe that Deadpool is in here somewhere. Good grief. This is another Kai DX torso. That's the third one I found. This one is chewed up pretty badly. So unfortunately, all 3 Kai DXs that I found have been in rough shape, but 3 of them is still pretty crazy. Okay, so here we have the cape to that Magna Guard that I was talking about. It does look like it is, you know, lightly frayed. It's not in like great shape, but it's really not, it's not too bad either. So if I can find the head to that guy, he'll be complete. Here we have another Kai ZX. Here's a Zane head though. This is a pretty good piece, I'm pretty sure. I think that the reddish brown color of it is pretty expensive. It was used on that old Troll King from Fantasy Era. I'm not sure if it was used on anything else, but that is a very expensive figure now. Alright, so I have made a pretty good dent in sorting, and now I'm going to try and dump out this whole bag and see if I come across anything cool while I do that. Well, would you look at that? It's the legs to Possessed Lloyd. So now all I'm missing from a second copy of Possessed Lloyd is that armor piece that he has underneath his hood. That is insane. All right, I still have a long ways to go here, but I can easily say that this is one of the best eBay finds I've ever had already. Just so many great figures in here, and I got it for, you know, drastically cheaper than what, you know, bulk figures tend to go for. Here we have the torso to that Magneto, so I believe he's complete because I don't think he had a unique print on his legs. Here we have a Stone Warrior from Ninjago, but he was wearing this little black comma from Star Wars, which was used on the old ARC Trooper, as well as the old Captain Rex. And I believe that comma alone is like 15 bucks. Poor Clone Trooper. Not sure what happened to this guy, but his torso is mutilated. Here we have Ahsoka from the early seasons. No way. Here we have it. It is the armor piece to Possessed Lloyd. So now, just from this lot, I've ended up with 2 copies of this figure. Which again, he sells for, I believe, $150 to $200 right now. The first figure that I came across, he did have small torso cracks under both arms, but this one looks to be in fantastic shape. So that is amazing. Those 2 figures alone almost pay for the entire lot here, which is crazy. There's so much good stuff in here. Tons and tons of Star Wars. Here we have one of the old Compass pieces, which I believe this is the standard version, which is worth a few dollars. There's another version of the Compass that was only in a couple of the old pirate sets and is worth, you know, like 15 or so. Still a cool piece to find though. Whole bunch of skeletons. I'll put that in with the castle stuff. Alright, so I'm going to take a quick break before I resume sorting. I'd say I'm maybe like halfway through the pile. I have found a ton of Star Wars stuff in here. Got another cup as well there. Got a bunch of Ninjago. A bunch of random licensed figures. I've got a couple of CMFs. This is some more of the licensed stuff. These are some figures from the original Lego themes. Like, we got Pharaoh's Quest, we got Chima, Power Miners, stuff like that. Here is where I've been putting all my like vintage stuff. Been putting the superheroes in here, City in here, Ninjago here, and Castle here. Tons and tons of great figures already, and you know, I still have quite a ways to go. But I'm gonna take a quick break and then get back to it. All right, time to get back to sorting. I had to get a few more bins because I was running out. Fortunately, I've only found 1 cup worth of city figures so far. There's been a lot of like licensed themes and stuff, which is always good to see. Here we have a pair of Kai DX legs that are just absolutely mutilated. So I found pieces to like 3 of those Kais at this point, but unfortunately all of them have been in pretty bad shape. Here we've got a nice figure. This is Indoor Leia with her poncho. So at this point I think I've picked out a lot of the like complete figures. So there's a lot of partial stuff at this point. So I'm still just sorting everything out. Still going by theme, but I've also got like a cup full of capes right here and a cup full of blank legs. I'm sure I'll find some more cool stuff, but I do think I've probably gotten most of the good figures out of here so far. I believe that these legs are to that rare adventurer's figure. I haven't come across any of his other parts though, and a lot of the value to that figure is in his cape, so I doubt that he's going to be complete. Here is the headpiece to Hera. I found the body to her earlier, so that's nice. That'll be a complete figure. All right, making some more headway here with the sorting. Just found this hairpiece, which goes to the old Zane minifigures. It was used on a couple of his like rebooted figures, and also the stone armor, I believe. But that hairpiece alone is worth like $10 now. I've picked through most of the figure parts out of the main bulk of the lot, and at this point I'm just kind of like sorting them out by type. Got a cup full of heads, a couple of head wear. All right, so unfortunately my phone died, so it cut off about the last like 20 minutes of video that I've spent sorting this out, but honestly it's not that big of a deal because, you know, I've already picked out most of the good stuff. This is going to be where I pause the sorting for the moment. I've picked out most minifigure parts. I still need to go through again and get out the last few of them and just kind of sort through some of these accessories. But at this point, I've picked out most of it. You know, I've got a cup full of heads, I've got a bunch of head gear, a bunch of legs, some random torsos here. And then I've sorted out most of the figure parts by theme. I ended up with a little bit of castle, not a ton of stuff here, but a few nice figures in the mix there. We got a little bit of Lord of the Rings, several pieces to some of the figures from that Uruk-hai army set. I don't think any of the figures are complete, but some of those pieces are still worth a decent bit on their own. I found several valuable figures, which, you know, just these 4 characters alone should honestly pay for the entire price of the lot, which that is very nice. And then I've also got all these different bins where I've sorted things out by theme. I think I ended up with the most of Star Wars, which is awesome. There's a whole bunch of figures in here. There's some nice ones, like that Ponkrell, the Indoor Leia. We got Hera. And then there's also, you know, a bunch of army builder figures, like clone troopers, stormtroopers, snow troopers, rebels, all sorts of stuff. So that is great. Here we have a bunch of Ninjago. So in addition to the 2 possessed Lloyds, there were several other good Ninjago figures. We got this one Serpentine guy. We got a Skybound Lloyd in here. Several like DX pieces, although all the Kai DXs were kind of in rough shape. I think I saw like 3 different Zane DX legs, but no torsos for him, so that was a little odd. Here we have a bunch of licensed figures. So these, I've got some like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, some Harry Potter, Minecraft, Pirates of the Caribbean. Nothing too crazy in there, I don't think, but definitely some decent figures. Here we have all of the CMFs. So we got like the Medusa and the Centurion, which those are some good figures. I'm not sure how much this one is worth, but you know, it's complete. Several other decent ones in the mix there. I really like the Space Marine guys. I didn't see the head for them, but the rest of the figure was there. Got a decent bit of City, which, you know, none of this is worth very much, but what I'll just do is kind of assemble random figures using these parts and just throw them up on eBay. I can usually get around $1, $1.50 per figure doing that. Here we have all of the superheroes. Nothing too crazy besides that Nightwing that I found. The Magneto, I do believe, is complete. I found all the different pieces to him. I did not find any pieces to that Deadpool. So, you know, a few decent superheroes. Here we have a bunch of random unlicensed themes that are just kind of like Lego originals. There's some Galaxy Squad, Chima, Atlantis, Agents, some stuff like that. Most of these are pretty cheap figures. And last up, here we have all of the like vintage stuff. These like ghosts, I think the hood alone is worth like $10 or $12, so that's nice. There's a couple of those hoods in there. We've got a few castle figures, a few ninja figures. a few pirates, and a lot of just like the town stuff that isn't worth, you know, too much money. That is going to do it for the moment, though. I am going to post some more videos soon as I continue to work through this lot and try to get some of this listed onto Bricklink and eBay, and just try to, you know, kind of get a breakdown of the profit on this lot. But that is going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching.